This is Libwakan Springs, Tagbina, Surigao Del Sur, Caraga region, Philippines. It is one of over 50 natural freshwater springs in the region. The spring is a natural blue water wonder, similar to its larger cousin, the Enchanted River in Hinatuan. Hinatuan has been developed for easy access and use for tourists. The grounds where trees were rooted have been paved for concrete steps. Concrete pools were built for children to swim in. Hinatuan is used by hundreds and sometimes 1,000 people per day. Just a few years ago, Libwakan Spring was a symbol of provincial life. It was used as an area to wash clothes, bathe in, and locals would dip in the spring to cool off during hot Filipino weather. But there's something about humans and how we see progress. The Filipino cave divers paid a visit to this tranquil place a few weeks ago. These brave and curious adventurers saw the cave and did an initial exploration. These guys don't just dive caves, by the way. They work towards the preservation of Philippine underwater cave systems as well as the environment around them. They were in contact with the main proponents in the development of the area on both sides of the spectrum. I get to experience this tug of war between progress and preservation, economic and environmental. I spoke to Mayor Generoso Naraiso, who executed plans from their local Department of Tourism.
Mayor, ano ba yung pakay ninyo paano mag-develop ang yung Lake Libwakan?
Binigyan kami ng tulong sa Department of Tourism ng 1 million para ma-develop yung Libwakan Spring.
Paano mo nakakatulong ito sa community?
Kasi nagpatulong kami sa community kasi yung mga malapit yung mga tao dito, kunti lang yung tubig na supply ng tubig. So pag wala na lang tubig, punta dito. Mga ligo sila.
Maliligo.
At sila manglaba.
Libre ho ito ngayon, ano?
Libre. Libre pa ngayon.
Ngayon, oo.
Pero ma-develop na siguro may bayad na kasi pagbayad sa mga maintenance,
Ano pa naman dito? Kunwari may mga basura, pero may mga tao na naliligo, may maiwasan, may basura sila na iiwan.
Pinabawal namin na ngayon kasi kita sa mga tao na hindi maganda kasi yung basura nila kalat sa doon sa tubig. So siguro next time magawa kami ng cottage para sa accommodation. Para sa accommodation sa mga bisita. Ang gusto ko na makatabang sa mga mayan dito kasi yung mga tao galing sa mahirap. So kailangan matulungan natin.
Meron kayong may nalagay na po na riprap.
Riprap parang yung may tubig galing sa taas dumaloy, hindi na punta sa tubig.
So Mayor, ano hong pwede niyong i-request sa DOT?
So maghingi ako sa DOT yung pondo, yung malaki para tuloy-tuloy ang trabaho pag-develop dito.
Would you like to have their guidance din po, yung Central Office for Responsible Tourism and Equitable Tourism po?
Yes, ma'am.
Kasi yun, marami na po silang, aral na po sila sa, we're gearing towards there. Okay, so Mayor would like to have us request for help from the DOT to give them guidance and funds so that they could properly develop this Lake Libwakan in order to preserve it and at the same time open it up for ecotourism and responsible tourism to the people. So there's going to strike a balance between nature and people. So anyway, thank you very much, Mayor. Salamat po.
Nearby rice fields and farms are a source of pesticide and fertilization contaminants. Fertilizers give excess nutrients that cause algae blooms to grow. It's like having a gym buff getting juiced up on steroids and supplements. It disturbs the natural balance of plant life and the spring's delicate ecosystem. The landowner Nanita Nazareno is a passionate woman who worked for the DTI, Department of Trade and Industry. She comes from a local family with an appreciation for nature and environment.
The reason why I bought this property was really for me to preserve the spring.
When you bought this 2006, how was the condition of the place?
Well, not as denuded as this in this particular area.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could see that the ongoing development, I could not imagine how this will really result.
Do you right now, kasi the situation is that you have a lot of visitors that come here
Yeah.
almost every day probably because it's summertime, no? It's summer season, so it's hot and then the water is quite cool. And
Yes.
I remember you mentioning it a while ago. You have a logbook there, and how many people visit it?
I saw the logbook which is being kept by the barangay. Now less than 500 people coming here on weekends.
No less than 500 people.
So every day this is now visited by many people, not only from this community but from other places because after Enchanted they come here.
Oh, wow. Did you see a change in the water from 2006 to
Yes.
present?
Do you know, you're really God sent. I mean the Filipino cave divers, because I didn't really know the condition of the cave before you told me after your dive that the cave really is in a critical condition.
Mhm.
Last February, I brought here the PUM Netherlands senior expert because of my concern of the stagnant water and then some uh, substances like algae forming,
Algae forming, yeah.
forming there. So it really alarmed me because I know that also the runoff from the rice field is causing pollution. I really would like to save the spring. It has been my mission, my aim to save the spring because I know how critical the water is, not for myself but for the people here especially.
I noticed also when we got here, there were a number of butterflies, dragonflies, and then you could hear cicadas and you could hear a lot of birds.
The birds. That's
Yeah.
why, if possible, if we can only put our acts together, I mean, the stakeholders, to really restore the place, keep the forest vegetation so that we'll have all these sounds of the birds, all these, that would be very nice. For me, if I only have a say for tourism is, um, sana to upgrade the quality of our tourism in terms of the product. And when I say upgrading, which means that let us not destroy the natural endowments. People come because of nature. A lot of people love nature, and we're selling the experience. We're not just selling the place. There are many spring water anywhere you can go. But if we can only give them a different experience, that's why we have the community-based rural tourism. It's not just the destination. It's also about the people in the area.
But it's glad we're really fortunate to have people like you. We need to educate more people. She should go around the Philippines and educate more people about, preserving the natural beauty and forest,
Yeah.
the natural beauty of our country.
Concrete and stone structures called riprap were installed to line the spring. Loose rocks found their way into the spring and covered the underwater cave. See, when you cover the underwater cave, this decreases the natural flow of water. If we think about it, does progress mean sacrificing fresh spring water? I'm not sure if this is a standard, but we do have concrete trees to replace the real ones that have been cut. I'm back in Manila from Surigao, and that was quite an epic trip with the Filipino cave divers. It was also quite an experience to see the tug of war between progress and preservation. Both sides were heartfelt and passionate. The mayor's heart, of course, pours out towards his municipality of Tagbina. He wants to see the people progress. He would like to help them put food on their table and send their kids to go to schools. Not everybody in Tagbina, of course, is wealthy. So in his mind, Libwakan Spring can be turned into a tourist attraction which could possibly earn revenue for the municipality. We have on the other side Ninitz, who owns the land that surrounds Libwakan Spring. Her heart pours out towards nature and preservation of the environment. She thinks that keeping the spring as natural as possible will benefit the future generations of Tagbina, which is also a very good point. However, Libwakan Spring is quickly catching up with the steps of Hinatuan. People have been gathering there every day. They dive, they swim, they eat around the area. and its beauty will surely attract more people who are willing to pay for this. They are oblivious, though, to another big potential, which is underneath Libwakan Spring. There's a freshwater source that has been blocked, which is a factor in the spring's failing health. The decreasing water level can have a negative impact on its surroundings. It can have a negative impact on its constituents. So where do we go? This is the same story for many municipalities around the Philippines, the battle between progress and preservation. Change is inevitable, but as one wise man said, the art of progress is keeping order amid change, and to change amid order.